Cardinals lose in convincing fashion to the Denver Broncos. Not a big deal, but how they lost, it's worth discussing. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Clancy, preseason 2 reaction show. We're just getting warmed up for the regular season. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. For those that don't know, doing about 15 minutes after each game, and immediately followed by our Cardinal Squad show with myself, Jamil Douglas, and Ben Garcia. We'll do a full hour live breaking down the game after it happens. So the Cardinals lose. They look bad. I mean, I'm going to discuss the good and the bad because there was some good. Not as much as there was in week 1 preseason against Kansas City, but there was some. So let's just get right into it here. The good. The offensive line looked fine. That's the thing for me is like when it comes to the offensive line, when it comes to the depth, when it comes to players not playing, starters not playing, the offensive line looked fine. Now, Hayden Conner, rookie out of Texas, 6th-round pick, got hurt. John Gaines came in. I'm assuming that wasn't the plan for him to play today, but they needed a center not named, not named Yalta Froholt. And John Gaines looked good. Okay, he was able to keep the pocket deep. He was able to, protect Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett more times than not had plenty of time to do what he needed to do. He was scurrying a little bit, but he was doing what he was able to do. Had a touchdown throw to Simi Fehoko. And listen, Simi Fehoko, I think, pretty much just solidified himself as the 5th wide receiver on this team. We'll see what happens with Xavier Weaver. But Simi Fehoko looked good at a couple catches, had the touchdown catch up the seam, looked fine. Trey Benson didn't play. Max Melton didn't play. ADG didn't play. So for me, the big picture stuff, the good for me is that the Cardinals know who RB2 is. The Cardinals most likely know who's going to be playing alongside Mac Wilson week 1. Even though Cody Simon played the whole first half, which I loved. That's what I wanted to see going into the game today. I wanted to see a lot of Jordan Burch. We saw Jordan Burch get another almost sack. They got called back by penalty again. That was the 3rd one this season, or this during the first 2 weeks. And listen, Jordan Burch looks ready to go. Okay, he looks ready to go. I think he's going to have a larger role earlier than people expect. Cody Simon looked okay. He didn't look necessarily lost. He just looked like he was a rookie in his first real action. Because he played sparingly, he played in the second half last week. My big question is, why did Cody Simon play in the first half and then Owen Pappoe played in the second half? I'm sure they're going to keep a bunch of inside linebackers. Owen Pappoe may be the odd man out there. Cody Simon, I think, has him on the depth chart if week 1 started tomorrow. So listen, when it comes to what we saw tonight, obviously it was gross. Clayton Tune, not great. But the good stuff is more the future pacing stuff. The good stuff is, well, they know who their RB1 is. Or RB2 is, excuse me. They know who's going to start between Max Melton and Will Johnson in their base set. Or in their, in the demon set. Like, these are good things. This is what the preseason is for. It's for checking boxes that were previously question marks, and not necessarily question marks like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. Question marks like, which player will beat out the other because both can start. It's a coin flip or close to it. And now you see Max Melton not playing today and Will Johnson getting run and getting his welcome to the NFL moment, which I'll talk about after the break. Like, they're starting to check the boxes. They're starting to check the boxes, and that's a fantastic thing. And you know what? I got to give Denzel Burke his flowers, too, for part of his showing. He had a couple PBUs, looked a lot more aware today, looked a lot more comfortable, and then he and Gaetan Crawford had miscommunication that resulted in a Troy Franklin touchdown, which 100% wouldn't have happened if, Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson were on the field. But, it's the preseason. It's a bunch of rookies. But it's fun to see guys make plays that could translate in 2025. Like John Crawford had a tackle for loss almost right away. I think it was actually a 1 yard gain, but he was a ball hawk, came out of nowhere. He's got a little Buda Baker in him. And like, listen, it was ugly, but Clayton Tune played the whole game pretty much after the first quarter. It's like there's no correlative between what the Cardinals are going to look like week 1 in New Orleans and tonight. There's not. You got a little texture with Will Johnson, with Keaton Crawford, with Jordan Birch, with Cody Simon. Very, very rookie-centric. Very rookie-centric, okay? Depth-centric. John Gaines came in. He was an NFL player against 2s and 3s in the pass rush trying to collapse the pocket from the interior. You could just tell John Gaines is ready to rip. If John Gaines plays, if he has to play this year, which you kind of hope he doesn't, unless it's in the guard spot, because that means something happens to Yalta Froholt, he'll be fine. The Cardinals have the offensive line depth necessary to be able to move the locomotive downhill if somebody were to get injured. It's not going to be 100% perfect, like it would be if they were the starters, but it would be good enough to protect Kyler Murray and allow this team to continue to move forward. And then honorable mention, Blake Gillikin, and, they got their dudes. They've got their dudes for the next decade. He and Chad Ryland. Chad Ryland with the honorable mention of booting a 72-yarder during warmups. I know it was in altitude. That's a long field goal, man. Even if it's, pretty much off a tee, he still takes the step and a half and plants, but it's not exactly game time. But there were a lot more things to discuss on the not so great side of things. And listen, again, just like when things were going really well last week, you kind of got to chill and say, this is the preseason. It's a bunch of guys who don't have a lot of reps in the NFL. Don't freak out. Like the opportunity and the proclivity for people to freak out when it comes to negative things in the preseason far outweighs the positive. Because it's like, well, it's positive, yeah, but it's the preseason. Oh, that's bad. Oh, let's hope that doesn't happen in the regular season. Dude, chill. Having said that, there were some things that need to be discussed. And again, very rookie-centric, which allows for some wiggle room. It allows for some runway, whatever cliche you want to use to make it known that rookies are rookies. They've never played in the NFL before, and they're going to go through these bumps and bruises, and you better have it in the preseason and also have a roster where they don't have to play right away. And the Cardinals have all of that. With that said, there was some bad stuff. We'll discuss it next. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Cardinal Reaction Show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Listen, having your finances in order is imperative. And most people can't name all the financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. Okay, you can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorizations of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet, because spreadsheets are the worst. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser or on your phone for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNFL. So listen, it was gross. It was gross. Clayton Tune's not good at football. And, you feel bad for him. Like, these are never personal attacks. The avatar that is wearing number 15 for the Arizona Cardinals is not a good quarterback. So when you're trying to distinguish between guys who are 100% on the roster and guys who are fringe on the roster or practice squad guys, it's difficult to delineate between the two when the quarterback is 12 for 16 for 65 yards. I think he ended up a little bit more than that. But that's where it was deep into the fourth quarter. And when you're the third string quarterback, you play behind the third or fourth string offensive line. So it's not 100% his fault. It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, if you're the third string quarterback, you kind of got to deal with the consequences of who's going to be blocking for you. The bad for me first and foremost is Will Johnson. Okay. Another penalty. got absolutely railroaded by Evan Ingram. Like, why was Evan Ingram playing? I don't, it's the dumbest thing. It's like Sean Payton needs to have these one-up on people. And it's like, well, why would Evan Ingram, why? What does it matter? Everybody else is sitting. So you're going to have Evan Ingram run a crossing route and just torch the third string defense for the Arizona Cardinals. What does that prove? What does that show? Either way, Will Johnson was the one who got torched, and then he kind of jogged, and then he was the one that made one of the ones that made the tackle at the end. But Will Johnson didn't look good. This was his welcome to the NFL moment. Okay. And this is not a freak out thing. Even if he played horribly, if he played every snap last week and every snap this week and got absolutely torched the entirety of the time, it still is okay. Okay. Say he needs a year. Say he needs a year to really hone in on his skills. Say he needs a year to get to the level that you expect an NFL cornerback to play. The Cardinals would be fine. Remember, and I promise I'll talk about more bad stuff. Remember, if this draft class didn't exist, the Arizona Cardinals would still be fine this year. They would still be exponentially better than they were last year. Will it add some texture? Of course. Could Jordan Birch be a star on the outside? Could Will Johnson really, just strengthen the depth of that young DB room? Like, of course. But if they didn't exist, the Cardinals would 100% be exponentially better roster-wise than they were last season. With all that said, he was bad. Denzel Burke didn't look great, had the pass breakup early. It was a really, really good play. Really, really good play. And then, gave up a touchdown, kind of was around for the second one. The run game was atrocious, under 40 yards rushing, I believe. Amari DiMercato didn't look fantastic. He hobbled off towards the later part of the second half. These bad things that happen are still good. And I'll break this more down on Monday when I do the full show. But this is the clearing of the haze. This is where all the clarity comes into play. Games like this, no starters. Who looks like an NFL player among depth guys? Jordan Birch is close. Okay. I'm not crowning him like, oh, he's got to start in front of Baron Browning. It's not that, but he can hold his weight. Xavier Thomas, TBD. He's playing in the second half. He's not getting the push like we saw the burst during the regular season last year. Who knows? I mean, whatever. Like, again, it's the preseason. But the run game didn't look great. Will Johnson didn't look great. People are going to eat Cody Simon for I don't understand why. It's really hard to put into words, unless somebody's getting absolutely burned left and right, for what an off-ball linebacker has a bad game. Okay, it's missed tackles, it's blown coverage, it's blown contain, things like that. And we didn't see any of that from him today. He looked fine. It was his first real action when he was just playing right out the gate, warm-ups, go play. He played a whole first half. It was fine. Like, I think it's very, very short-sighted to look at anything that happened tonight with any sort of grave concern. It's the preseason, and that's why, when things were happening when things went really well last week with Jordan Birch specifically, it's like, okay, do it again. They pulled him early tonight because he's like, all right, well, they saw what they needed to see. Dude's ready to rip. Aside from a couple flash plays from the rookies, they look like rookies. And that's 100% okay. Cardinals lose, convincing fashion. Another one in the books. Next week is probably going to be even worse. But yeah, until then, Alex Clancy, as that falls off, Locked On Cardinals. There's not even an earthquake going on right now. I will talk to you Monday for the full show. Talk to you then.